I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and I'm on day 24 with the HTC One, HTC's iconic new Android smartphone. In day 24, we're talking about the thing you've asked me about the most on Twitter and on Facebook. It's battery life. Can the 2,300 milliamp hour battery hold a charge, literally and figuratively, against other devices on the market? We'll find out in the day 24 video, which starts right now. If my Twitter feed's any indication, this is what you've been waiting for with the HTC One 30-day challenge. It's the battery portion of the challenge. Now, if you remember, this has a 2,300 milliamp hour non-removable battery, meaning you can't remove it to replace it with another battery when you're traveling, when you're going in an airplane, when you're on the road, whatever the case may be. If you're a road warrior for work, your battery is in the device and it's not going anywhere. Now, that said, a huge thing in the past couple of years have been battery chargers, portable battery chargers. HTC actually sells one, not in the US, I believe it's in Asia markets, that provides 6,000 milliamp hours of a charge. So when you're on the road, you can take something like that and charge it up, just plug in the USB cable, plug it into the battery charger, and you're good to go. So, less and less of a concern is that non-removable battery, and honestly, I can't, quite frankly, I can't figure out why it's such a concern on Twitter, on Facebook. Yes, I understand that, some people want to pull the battery and sometimes Android needs a battery pull, but honestly, with the reset options available, unless you're potentially hacking, rooting, modding, I really can't see a use case where it's substantially needed over a non-removable battery. But you can see the battery here, 2,300 milliamp hours, and I'm going to be quite frank with you. In 2,300 milliamp hour battery, I make it about 10 to 12 hours with moderate use. I can make it till about 7 or 8 p.m. before my battery starts to flash low. On a regular day, on a heavy day, it takes me to about 6 p.m. I don't have any hard numbers for you or any sort of use case I can provide. I can say that I do moderate use, checking email, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, things like that. From time to time, obviously phone calls, text messaging, browsing the web, things like that. And it makes it, like I said, until about 8 to 9 p.m. for me. But I do almost always have to charge this device at least once or put it on the charger for at least 20 or 30 minutes to make it through my day. So keep that in mind. One thing HTC does do incredibly well, and they continue to do on this device, they have a very impressive standby time, and that hasn't changed on the HTC One. It's got a great standby time. When I keep this device off the charger overnight, I notice it only drops a few battery percentage points. And actually, my annoyance for the fact that HTC is the one that does not have the physical battery percentage indicator up top. So I use battery life by Curvefish, and it shows me right now I have 90% battery life remaining. So battery life decent, and again, keeping in mind what you're coming from here. I mean, for example, I'm coming from the Galaxy Note 2, so I'm used to a gigantic 3,100 milliamp hour battery. So it's all economies of scale. If you're coming from a Chevy Tahoe, for example, and you drop to a Toyota Corolla, you're going to notice a size difference. You're going to be used to having a big car, and then you go to a small car. But there are benefits of that, much like there are benefits here. For example, this is more pocketable than the Note 2, and obviously from a design perspective, a lot of people like the metal. It's definitely, from a metal and glass perspective, more beautiful than the Note 2. Obviously, beauty is very subjective, but in terms of metal, in terms of overall materials use, this is going to be very popular. So the trade-offs, it all depends on what's most important to you. You want to trade it off and go with metal, go with a slightly smaller battery, but go with a device that's more pocketable. This is going to be a unique device for you, and it's something that's really going to turn heads. If a battery is important to you, you're like me, you're constantly on the road, perhaps 2,300 milliamp hours is a little bit too small. Though that said, this is by far one of the best HTC devices I've worked with. Compare this to something like the original HTC One X, which was not great in the battery life department. The One X Plus was slightly better, but again, with the Tegra 3 processor, I found that it was slightly better, but not by a dramatic amount. This is a huge improvement for HTC. I still wish they'd go up to about 2,600 milliamp hours on their batteries, but still am very impressed with the 2,300 milliamp hour battery you got on this device. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. That's the battery portion. We'll talk in the final couple of videos. I think I'm going to surprise you, so I'm not going to tell you what we're going to talk about. Keep it locked right here. Let me know what you want to see in the final videos on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, Facebook.com/Hi Aaron Baker, Google+, G+.to/PhoneDog. Maybe it's Blink Feed, maybe it's more apps, maybe it's system stuff, or perhaps it's one final recap on the design of this iconic Android smartphone. Let me know at those social media channels I just mentioned. Thanks for watching. Much more to come on the HTC One on PhoneDog.com. I'll see you next time.